Good morning. It's June 26, 2011. Welcome. It's Cliff Botts again. A couple of issues I want to talk about today. One is anonymous and why I am not. And it's just kind of FYI background history. And the other is a recap of what my story is. Okay, the reason I am not anonymous goes back to 2003, 2004 when I was studying and writing and trying to get a grip on alternative religion. At the time I was studying the occult religions, which of course is the religious expression most open to ridicule by the media in the United States today, because some of the principles of the occult religions have been denounced, shall we say, as being primitive hysteria and whatever. Anyway, you get my drift. You know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to spend too much time selecting my words here. So I was using a screen name, a nickname, whatever you want to call it. A couple friends of mine got into an argument online, and I was outed. It was at that point that I decided to simply use my own name and hide in plain sight, as it were. And it pretty much has worked out well enough because, as you can tell by looking at the numbers, nobody's really paying a whole hell of a lot of attention to me. But in this era, nobody pays a hell of a lot of attention to anybody else. Even among the alternative journalists, even among the citizen journalists. If it doesn't come out of a few accepted alternate mainstream sources, alternat's one of them, Truth Out is another. If it doesn't come out of one of those sources, then it's pretty much panned. So I get that, and that's the way it goes, and I'm cool with that. Okay, it's not a problem. Now, why I'm here, why I'm doing this, why I'm fighting. Okay, one more time for the sake of posterity. One more time. I put my life on hold. I went at age 30 and got a degree in telecommunications management from DeVry Institute of Technology. At the time, it was the City of Industry campus. They have since closed that campus. That campus got moved to Pomona, and they opened another 2 or 3 campuses around the LA area. But at the time, back in 1988, when I went, the one campus was in the City of Industry. I put my life on hold. I struggled. I not only achieved my bachelor's in telecommunications management, I also graduated with honors. Graduated October 1990. Graduated into the middle of the peace dividend recession under the first George Bush. The first job I had was as a PC technician for $10 an hour in Los Angeles. My rent at the time was $800 a month. You can do the math. It wasn't until 2004 that I actually got into, or not 2004, 1994, that I actually got into a job even closely related to what I'd studied in college. By this time, of course, my student loans were completely out of whack. I mean, we're looking at basically 4 years of not being able to service them. And nobody in our beloved government really seems to give a flying fuck. Okay. Now, got into the industry in '94. Progressed rather nicely up the line from there. I went from $10 an hour to $12.79 an hour. Yeah. And from $12.79 to 15, and then from 15 to 25, then from 25 to roughly 28 to 29 an hour. You know, that's what I made. It was a decent wage. There's some perks involved, but that's about the most I've ever made. In 1998, I was injured. I told you about the server rack injury. That knocked me out of the ballpark from 1998 to 1999. Even while going through treatment, I did work in '99 until July, when I was pulled out because the treatment wasn't responding and my back issues were getting worse. Went from there, and I realize this is long and drawn out, so bear with me. I went from there to having surgery. I had surgery, removed a disc, in which the insurance company fought all the way up to the day before the surgery, even though they were ordered to do the surgery. They fought up to the day before the surgery. They literally called my doctor's office the day before the surgery and said they weren't going to pay for it. And the jackass at the fucking doctor's office calls me and tells me to deal with it. And I have in my hand, which they had a copy of, a paper ordering the insurance company to pay for it. And this dick at the doctor's office, mind you, I'm in pain. I'm damn near a cripple. This dick at the doctor's office calls me up and tells me to deal with the insurance company. Now, mind you, front office and doctor's offices versus what the doctor will do are two different things. So anyway, November 12th, 1999, I had surgery. I had a disc removed. No big deal. Actually, it was a very big deal. It's one of the reasons I ended up studying alternative religion. I had an experience that, well, a number of experiences down in Texas that opened up my awareness to a greater spiritual reality than what exists within the confines of the institutional religions. Institutional religions right now in the United States are doing a grand disservice to the people of the United States, but that's another story entirely. So anyway, I'm sorry it's taking long drawn out. I'm just woke up. I'm a little tired, but I wanted to get this out there. So I worked, finally got back into the field. Tech support position up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for Johnson Controls in I think it was June of 2000. A lot of things happened between the time of the surgery was over and that, but again, I'm just giving you this straight line. Anyway, June of 2000. The manager of Johnson Controls, now mind you, at the time I was a practicing Jew, because my wife is a practicing Jew, or ex-wife. It's another story entirely. I took off for Yom Kippur. I told them 3 weeks ahead of time that I was taking off for Yom Kippur. It was okay with my employer, because my employer was not Johnson Controls. My employer was Tech Systems. It was okay with their office, and they had no problem with it. I took off Yom Kippur. I get back the day after. They fired me. Now, mind you, the week before, and somewhere in storage, I still have the plaque. The week before, I won the company's service award for rendering service above and beyond. But they found grounds to fire me anyway the day after I took off for Yom Kippur. That was October of 2000. And from October of 2000 until, what was it? Call it April 2009. I worked anything but technology. I spent 8 years working as a security guard, waiting for the technology to turn around. It never really did. I wrote 5 books that are still published. Actually, I wrote more than that, but those are the ones that are still published. I've done everything that I can think of, including going back to school and getting about a quarter of the way through a master's in criminal justice. I'm at a point where I'm burned out. Now, I'm working on a CCNA right now, figuring that my A+ certification, which I got in 2005, plus a CCNA, will probably land me a decent job. Now, a decent job will pay, depending, between 15 and 25 an hour. Now, we're 11 going on 12 years after the technology dump, and that's what we're left with, making the same money after 10 years that I went out at. And this is the environment that you step into for the elections of 2012. In 2004, I held Bush accountable for the crap that was going on in the economy. And some of you guys are actually doing better in that era than I was, so mazel tov. You like Bush? Go for it. We elected Obama as a liberal progressive to change many things in the United States. He ran on a campaign of change and hope. It's not there anymore. It's not there at all. So, when it comes November of 2012, we have to find an alternative. Now, I'm offering myself, and I realize this is not the best campaign speech to make. I'm offering myself as an alternative. Am I serious about this? That's up to you to decide. Am I serious about it? Yes, I'm serious about running for the office. Do I have a snowball's chance in hell of winning? That is what you have to decide. I'll do what I have to on my end, what I can afford, what I can do. It's going to be up to you. So, when it comes to getting screwed by the multinational feudalist out there, I know all too well of what it's like. So, you decide what you want to do with it. Okay? Thank you for your time. Sorry this went a little long. Like I said, it's first thing in the morning. This is conversational. It's not scripted. At some point in time, I'll do what I have to with it. And by the way, I am now, on June 26, 2011, technically homeless, a vagabond, and I lost everything. But that's okay, because I'm still alive. Hey, again, thank you for your time. May your God go with you. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.